Hello and welcome to the notes on quadratic regression. Quadratic regression is similar to linear regression, but instead of finding an equation of the form y equals ax plus b, you are going to find an equation of the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. This is very similar to what you already looked at in your quadratic regression review, or your quadratic functions review. Notice here that this is a quadratic function, namely because you have an exponent of 2 as your highest exponent, so this has a degree of 2. Quadratic functions always form the shape of a parabola, either a positive or a negative. You'll also need to do a little bit different step when you put your data in. You'll still go to stat calc or stat edit and enter your data the same way. But when you go to calculate it, you need to go to stat calc and then go down to 5 for quad reg. Don't forget to store your functions in y1. Remember, that's vars, y vars, function y1. So for example 1, a shot putter throws the shot at a 45-degree angle. The horizontal distance that the shot travels and its vertical height above the ground are given in the table below. So the horizontal distance is x, and the height, the vertical distance, is y. The first thing we need to do is generate a best fit quadratic function to model the data. So you'll need to enter all of your distance values, your x values, into L1 in the calculator, and your height values, which are your y values, into L2 in the calculator. Remember to type in stat calc and go down to 5 for quad reg. And then go down to store regression equation. Go to vars, y vars, 1 for function, and then 1 for y1. And when you store this, then you can calculate, and your calculator will give you the best fit quadratic function. Now you'll notice that this has a lot of decimals, so you're going to have to figure out what the best place to round these to. It seems that the third decimal place is the most convenient for this function in particular. So it gives us a as negative 0.011, b is 1.059, which would be 0.6, c is 0.242. So we put that all into the quadratic equation form. Y equals negative 0.011x squared plus 1.06x plus 0.242. And this has already been stored in your y equals if you did it the right way. So now it says to graph the function on top of the points, how well does it fit? Well, you can see in this screen, before you move on from here, that the r squared is 0.97495, which is very close to 1. So this seems, from this correlation coefficient, to be a very close fit. If you click zoom 9, you should see the scatter plot. If you don't, you'll have to go back to your stat plot, second y equals, and turn your scatter plot on. If it's already on and it's in the residual mode, you'll have to change your y list back to L2. So zoom 9, you'll see that plot. And you'll see here that the points fit the graph very well. There's one on the left that's a little bit lower, there's one on the maximum that's a little bit higher, but in general they are very indicative of this quadratic curve, so it fits very well. Now we're going to use the function to predict the height of the shot when the horizontal distance is 75 meters. Notice that 75 meters in your list of distances is beyond the data that you already have. You stop here at 67, so 75 is going to be a continuation of that. So what you're really doing is you're extrapolating from your data. The best thing to do for this type of question is to go to your table. However, your table will usually start at 0. So if you go to second window, you can start your table at 75. Make sure the change in table goes up by 1. And now when you click second table, you'll see that your table starts at 75. So the prediction of the height when the shot is, the height of the shot when the horizontal distance is 75 meters is about 17.266. And we don't have a distance unit in height, so I'm going to assume that that's meters as well. Now, according to the function, how far will the shot travel horizontally before it hits the ground? So if the shot is traveling horizontally, it's traveling along the x-axis, that's your distance, right? So you're looking for your x, and you're looking for how far it travels before it hits the ground. So in this case, your y would start at 0, but it would eventually return back to 0. So you're looking for your x when your y is 0. Your table will help with this. It will give you an approximation. It's not going to give you an exact. So if you just keep kind of scrolling down, you'll see where it goes. At 95, the y is 0.71365. And at 96, the y is negative 0.3471. So at approximately 95 meters is when that shot is going to hit the ground again. So we're going to say approximately 95 meters. Alright, let's look at our last example here. I highly recommend that you pause the video now and try this one on your own. If you can try it on your own first and then continue the video and check your work and see if you made any mistakes, it would be much more of a learning experience for you than simply just copying down what I put down here on the video. Alright, so in this example it says, the table below lists the number of Americans in thousands who are over 100 years old for selected years. Notice how the year starts at 1994 and it goes to 1996, 98, 2000, 2002, and 2004. When you are given years as your X, you never enter them as the actual year. That's one of the biggest mistakes that you can make here. What you need to do is you need to set your first year as your baseline year. So we're going to let X equals 0 at 1994. So if X equals 0 at 1994, 1996 is 2 years after 1994, so that's going to be 2. And we're going to have 1998 minus 1994, which is 4. And then notice this is increasing by 2. So instead of entering the years into the calculator for X, enter the 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and it will kind of center your data better in your window. It'll give you a better idea of what you're looking for. Your Y's here are going to be your number in thousands of Americans. So notice it says 50, 56, 65, etc. But what it actually means is 50,000, 56,000. But notice how they have abbreviated these numbers for you. So once again, they're easier for you to read. This is called scaling, and it's important to understand how to properly use scaling. So the first thing we're going to do here is we are going to enter all of our x values into L1 and all of our y values into L2 the same way as we always have. So we go to Stat, Edit, go up, clear out what you have in each of those lists, and then enter in your data. So once your data is entered in, you can go to Stat, Calc, 5 for quadratic regression, go down to Store Regression Equation, click vars, yvars, y1, and then calculate. And here you will get your A, B, and C. So for my A, I have 0.402. My B is 2.039. My C is 50.071. And so I put that into my quadratic equation, y equals 0.402x squared plus 2.039x plus 50.071. Now it asks us to graph the function on top of the data points. So we're going to go to Zoom 9. And you can see here that you have this upward curve. You're not going to have a full quadratic function because you don't have a full range of data here. But you do notice that it does fit that quadratic curve. There's maybe one point that's a little above and one point that's a little below, but most of the points are actually on the line. So it fits very well. If you have your stat diagnostics on, when you calculated your quadratic regression, you can actually see that your correlation coefficient here, R squared, is 0.9973, which is extremely close to 1. So this is almost a perfect fit. This seems very reliable. Now, question C. Use the function to predict how many centenarians, people over 100, will there be in the U.S. in 2008. So here it might get a little bit confusing. 2008, you have to determine how many years past 1994 that is. So you would just say 2008 minus 1994, and you will get the number that you're going to enter in is your x. So that's going to be 14 years. So now we're going to go to second window and set our table starting point at 14 and go to second graph to see the table. And you'll see that x goes straight to 14. So our y1, or our prediction, is 157.37 thousand. Remember, this is in thousands. Centenarians. So we can see that that number increases slightly. How many Americans will be over the age of 100 in 2020? So here, once again, we have to figure out the year. 2020, my bad, minus 1994 is going to give us the year that we need, which is 26 years. So we go over to the calculator and we do second window, enter in a 26, go to your table, and then you'll see that there are 374.7 thousand people over the age of 100. In the year 2020. Now for this last little example, I'm going to show you something that's going to help you with one of the last problems on your practice. So here we're going to use the equation y equals 3x squared plus 4x minus 1 to predict x when y will equal exactly 5.5. So the first thing you're going to have to do is write your equation when y is 5.5. So y becomes 5.5, and the rest of the equation is the same. Now what we're going to have to do is move the 5.5 to the other side of the equals so that our equation equals 0. So here we're going to have 3x squared plus 4x. Negative 1 minus 5.5 is negative 6.5. Now at this point, we're going to have to use our quadratic formula. So when we use a quadratic formula, first thing we need to do is define our a, b, and c. A here is 3, b is 4, and c is negative 6.5. And then we just put these into our quadratic formula. And from here, simplify. You can simplify it easiest in the calculator, but it's most convenient if you simplify everything under the radical first. You'll see here that we have actually the square root of 796 over 6. The square root of 796 is a pretty radical number. So what we're going to do at this point is, you see that this is a plus minus. We're going to separate this into two pieces, the positive and the negative. So we're going to separate it into negative 4 plus square root of 796 over 6 and negative 4 minus square root of 796 over 6. And notice we could do that because of the plus minus. So at this point, we just put each one of these into the calculator and see which one is going to give us a positive result. So negative 4 plus square root 796 divided by 6 gives us a result of about 4.036. And then negative 4 minus the square root of 796 over 6 gives us a negative 5.369. Notice one's positive and one's negative. So in this case, just so that it will help you in your homework later, we're going to choose the positive answer. This is a parabola, so of course you're going to get two results. So in this case, x is going to equal 4.036 when y equals 5.5. Now the problem on the homework, or the practice, is a little bit more difficult than this one, but if you follow the steps that I just now showed you, you'll be able to solve it. It says, like, hint, use the quadratic formula, so that'll give you a heads up as to the problem that I'm talking about. Alright, if you have any issues, make sure that you make a note of questions that you want to go over on Monday, and I hope you have a great weekend.